Hello everyone, Rusted here again. I know I haven't done a behind the scenes in a while, but this was a rap battle and it was kind of a special occasion, so I feel like I should start doing some more again for these bigger projects. Not only am I going to be speaking on this, but I'm going to have Connor talk about his lyrics, and Biscuit will be here talking about some editing stuff as well, so I hope you guys all enjoy it. This week it was Kakashi versus Aizawa. If you guys don't know, this is what won the first ever poll. If you haven't been seeing, every so often I post a poll on my community page where I put it to you guys to decide what the next rap battle I'm going to do is. How it works is I come up with ideas and I give those ideas to my Patreons and they vote on which one should go through, and then those ideas go off to the main poll that you guys vote on. Whichever rap wins that one is I work on next. This time Kakashi versus Aizawa won. The reason why I chose that as a matchup is they're both teachers of the main character. They act very similarly, kind of have a similar vibe to them. They both have like magic eyes. They have a lot of similarities in terms of like the roles that they play in the series and such. I chose Connor to be Aizawa because he did an Aizawa rap that I really liked. I think he's a really good lyricist. I really wanted to do a rap battle with him. I actually have the people I want down for the raps before they get chosen, so I know who's going to be who. And yeah, I feel bad because some of them are like, hey, do you want to be Goku, for example? And they're like, sure. And the Luffy versus Goku poll never gets voted on, so they've just been waiting in limbo for like a year. Before I get into the lyrics and such, I'm going to talk about the instrumental. Both me and Connor are British, and I felt like it would be suitable if we had a more grime-style instrumental. Grime is a genre that originated from the UK, and it's kind of like a 140 BPM, kind of hard-hitting instrumental, and I felt like it suited both of our voices perfectly for this particular track. Both of these characters have kind of like a cold, calculating stance to them, so I had kind of like an icy pluck play with the choirs, and then like a hard-hitting bass line, and I think it culminates into an instrumental that was suitable for both of these characters. And here are my lyrics. I won't be explaining Aizawa's side because Connor will be doing that, but I'll just go over some of my own lyrics and explain what I mean and my thought process behind it. When I do these rap battles, I always struggle with thinking about how to start the rap battles. I could think of like certain lines and bars and things I want to mention, but it's really difficult to come up with like the first few bars. So for this one, I just actually started it by saying, where do I start? I have the whole "you can't spit bars with my hand through your heart," just referencing Kakashi's Chidori, obviously, and how he like Chidori'd, and how he Chidori'd Kakuzu and Haku and people like that. I wanted it as like a great way to introduce Kakashi and like his powers and such. I wanted to touch on the fact that both Kakashi and Aizawa were teachers, like straight away. To get that a point across the audience, I straight out said we are both teachers. I actually have a system of how I write these rap battles now, because I've actually done a few now. You just haven't heard them yet. I come up with a bunch of hard-hitting bars that I like and put them at the end of each like 4-bar phrase and then work backwards from there, if that makes sense. So in this case, I knew that I wanted to do the line, "You're not even the strongest one in your own classroom." I just needed a way to rhyme it. Use the "at you" rhyme and then work backwards from there. Another example here is near the end where I said, "You're not even worthy to copy," meaning Kakashi obviously is a copy ninja, and everyone that he's fought, he copies their jutsu in some way, but he's saying that Aizawa is so pathetic, he's not going to copy any of things with his Sharingan, because there's no need, because Kakashi is so much better than him. But I wrote that line first, and then I went back, and I was like, okay, what rhymes to copy? Stop me. Kind of a callback to my Kakashi rap a little bit. I just wanted to explain this line a little bit, the "looking like your death rays, call it Edo Tensei." It's something that Connor actually helped me with a little bit when thinking of rhymes. What I'm referring to there is the fact that Aizawa looks like shit. Aizawa just kind of is a disheveled looking person. I'm equating the fact that he looks like that to essentially a walking corpse, and then referencing Edo Tensei, which are literally walking corpses. So here's an interesting section. I was worried about writing about this because my people who read the manga, I'm not going to say anything more, but it's a statement that only applies to anime Aizawa and doesn't really apply to manga Aizawa. But this whole section of how Aizawa doesn't know pain, so he doesn't deserve the glory he got. He was born with this quirk. Well, Kakashi obviously got his Sharingan from Obito and had this whole traumatic backstory to his abilities and such. Well, Aizawa just kind of had it from the beginning, and I wanted to hammer that home, but I almost cut that line because of certain events that I won't go into. Now, this final line of the first verse I was really proud of. In Aizawa's fight against the Nomu, it is stated that against someone who is just stronger than Aizawa, Aizawa is the equivalent of being quirkless, because even if he can cancel out the quirk of the person, if that person could just beat him up anyway, then they're just going to beat him up. And in this situation, even if Aizawa could like erase Kakashi's like jutsus and abilities, Kakashi's just more skilled than Aizawa and would just be able to beat him up. Then we move on to my second verse. One of the things about Aizawa is he's narcoleptic, and I couldn't think of a way of incorporating that into the rap until I realized that, oh, I could just say that his rapping is so boring that he put himself to sleep. So I put that in there. Then I have this whole section about Aizawa is irresponsible, and Aizawa has no place to stand, like insulting Kakashi on his methods of teaching and stuff, when Aizawa legitimately just led his students into a place where villains attack them, right? And if it wasn't for All Might coming in and fighting that Nomu, a lot of those students would be dead, and that would be on Aizawa's head. And then one of my favorite lines is, "Mind so blank, I see why they call you Eraserhead," because obviously referring to his name, Eraserhead. I'm saying his head empty. It's like it's been erased. And I was really proud of that line. I thought it was fun. I finally end it by saying, "You know what it's like to be crushed," because Aizawa again was crushed by that big old Nomu, and Kakashi just crushed Aizawa lyrically.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Connor Quest, here to give a little bit of a background insight into Aizawa's lyrics in the Kakashi vs Aizawa rap battle. First of all, big thank you to Rustage for getting me on the track. Really enjoyable experience. I love Aizawa. I love Kakashi as well, to be honest. So, you know, this was kind of perfect. So I think first of all, getting into kind of the rebuttals and retorts would be an interesting thing, because that's kind of like one of the main parts of a rap battle. And I think the part that a lot of people enjoy is the replies. So to start off, I think the first one was Kakashi saying, "I'm the 6th Hokage, you're not even the strongest one in your own classroom." I then follow that up with, "Feeling like a bag that I carry because I'm slept on, might not be the best one, but I'm still a threat, Don." So that's just kind of like a simple little rebuttal, like literally just saying, yeah, I might not be the best, but I'm still a threat, you know. It's just kind of like it's like a one line, just kind of, there's your reply, like, you know. There's obviously the nice little double entendre at the start with the bag that I carry because I'm slept on, being slept on obviously meaning to be underestimated, and, you know, he literally carries a bag that he sleeps in, and that's just a nice little double entendre there. The next one replies to the same line just a little bit further down in my verse. It's, "Don't brag about your Kage title when you weren't even the first one chosen." So that refers to obviously the fact that Kakashi wasn't actually the only one really being considered as a 6th Hokage. Obviously you had Danzo as well. So it's just a little nod to that, really. The fact that Danzo was being considered a 6th Hokage as well. Don't brag so much because, you know, you weren't actually the only one in the running, sort of thing. So one of the things I hammer in a lot on is the fact that his friends die. Seems harsh, but, you know, it's a rap battle. You got to be harsh. You got to dig deep. You got to get the low blows in. So I think I mentioned it around 3 times in the whole thing, which may seem like a lot for like a single like aspect, but I think they're spread out enough to the point where, you know, it's okay. Like, it's not too they're not too condensed into one area. It doesn't feel like I'm just hammering in on one point for ages. So the first time is, "Your whole story, it couldn't be cornier. You don't deserve that cornier. 2 friends in the morgue should have fought their corner." So you got the nice little homophone with cornier and cornea. And then just generally, yeah, 2 of your friends died, dude. Just really blunt, that one, actually. Really just, you should have been there. Why weren't you there, dude? Why weren't you there for your friends? Now, the next one is actually a mix of going into this kind of friendship thing and is also a rebuttal. When Kakashi says, "I hear you know what it's like to be crushed," I kind of come back with, "Yes, I was crushed. This scar is a mark of my kindness. Yours reminds you how you left friends lifeless." So just another little jab there, and also a nice little rebuttal into, you know, he was saying crushed, and obviously Obito was crushed literally by a rock. And then the last one is the final bar, pretty killer. "Romance ain't my forte, Miss Joke won't hear this guy laugh, but I'll give that to you, Hatake. You sure know your way to a girl's heart." I love that line so much. It's really hard hitting, and I think it's more hard hitting in the fact that there's a little bit of self-deprecation at the start. You know, he's kind of talking about his own like troubles in romance, because obviously Miss Joke is the character that he's kind of has on his case a lot, like kind of likes him a little bit and wants to make him laugh, but kind of giving that, you know, romance ain't my forte, but you know your way to a girl's heart, like, and literally he knows his way to a girl's heart, like, I like it a lot. I like that line a lot. The whole like taking a negative and actually flipping it around into some kind of a diss to the other person is something I quite like doing, because it rounds out the character. Like, it takes every aspect of them and puts it into a more positive position for themselves. I do it again with, you've got no drip, you're as dry as my eyelids. You know, having dry eyelids is nothing to boast about. You know, it's more a negative on Aizawa's part. But to turn it around and say, you've got no drip and you've got no style, you're as dry as my eyelids, it just takes that kind of negative and flips it to a positive, which I think is something you should definitely do a lot of the times in a rap battle, because it takes something away from your opponent. Just one more bar that I really like that's I think has a lot of like kind of stuff behind it is you're as dense as a tree, all bark no tooth, your team would learn more from a substitute. So I just really like the whole like tree semantic field here. So you've got you're as dense as a tree, obviously dense being stupid, but then you've got the density of like a big massive tree, you know, it's literally dense. All bark no tooth, so that's obviously referring to, you know, all bark no bite, which kind of links back to the white fang line from earlier. But then you've got obviously connotation of bark from a tree. And then your team would learn more from a substitute. So that's kind of implying they would learn more from a substitute teacher, but then they would also learn more from a substitute, which in Naruto, obviously, they turn most of the time into a literal log of wood. So I think that's just there's a lot of things in those two lines that like to just kind of unravel and unpack, which, you know, personally, I was really proud of writing that bar specifically. So yeah, I think that's most of the like really important things to take out of this verse. Obviously, there's a few little lines in there, but they're pretty straightforward and like just kind of like little jabs here and there. So I don't think they need to go into too much detail. But yeah, that's all from me. Thank you again to Rustage for having me on, and hope you enjoyed this little breakdown behind the scenes thing. Cheers.
It's me, Biscuit again. I've agreed to edit most of Mr. Rustage's rap battle videos. Not all of them, but most of them. This time I got assigned to work on another Boku no Hero vs Naruto rap battle, which was really convenient for me since I didn't have to watch both series all over again. I'd say Kakashi vs Aizawa doesn't really have a lot of fun manga stylizations in its video like Naruto vs Deku did. I was like, I don't really need to retread some of those same ideas because this battle is not Deku vs Naruto. It's Kakashi vs Aizawa. Each character has something special about themselves, so I thought it'd be fun to have a little bit of a chalkboard motif. There's a few shots of it during Aizawa's first verse, and the last verse is really cool and poignant with how it looks and such. This battle was also a lesson for myself in setting realistic expectations for myself. I felt as if I had learned a lot from Deku vs Naruto's video and wanted to become more ambitious and keep improving. Unfortunately, ambition can explode back in your face when you realize that your actual skill level cannot meet your expectations. I had to be reasonable with what I could do. I had to cut out a lot of cool ideas to meet time restraints and be doable with my skill level. I was trying to finish this project before the school year started in February, and had to come to terms that I'm not that good of an editor, so I had to let myself take shortcuts and cut cool ideas out of the final video. I remember being really disappointed about an idea I wasn't able to do, in which the funny mouse principal character pops out of Kakashi's hair. I just didn't have enough time to do that one. So for this edition of the behind the scenes editing, I thought about going through line and breaking them down again like I did in Deku vs Naruto, but I thought why not do something a little more specific and go behind the scenes of that. So for this, let's take a look behind the editing process, which I like to call masking. And I thought it was just fitting since, Kakashi wears a mask and it's masking. It's a very simple word connection thing. You get it. So what I define as masking is when I take the background out of a shot with a character. You can see in my masking collections, it's all a bunch of Photoshop files for the most part. When I mask for single frames, I just save them as PNGs like this one. It's very fun. I'd say this battle actually has a lot more masking than I did for Naruto vs Deku, I think. Because I wanted to make the characters all interact with each other in a way. It's with the line where Aizawa grabs Kakashi with his threads. I thought that was a cool shot. I'm really proud of that one. Even though certain individual frames don't look that good, but how it looks in motion is what I'm proud of. So my process for masking is what I do is export a bunch of frames from a specific clip I want to use and export them as PNG sequences. Then I just import them all in order in Photoshop, and then I individually cut each frame out until the character or object is the only thing left. and so I can save it as a Photoshop file and just import it back into Premiere, and then compile each frame so it looks like it's moving again. What I do, I have to make sure each frame lines up with the original clip, so I don't think this is a very orthodox method of masking, but it works for me, and it's always been working for me, and it's just the easiest way for me. I know there's better ways to mask on like After Effects or something, but this is just like, this is the method I'm just most comfortable with. There's also a little bit of masking within masking I do for like stuff like lip syncing. When I just want to take the lip sync of the original clip, I kind of just take the original clip and use the 4-point garbage, what's it called again? The garbage tool? I gotta check this out. It's something garbage. I don't know why it's called the garbage tool, but it's the garbage mat. Yeah, the 4-point garbage mat. I just take that and just make sure it's framing the mouth, so it just takes the original lip sync. It saves me a lot of time than like doing it manually by frame, so it's very good. And so that's all I'm gonna do for like the behind the scenes portions for Kakashi vs. Aizawa. Sorry this section was a bit shorter than expected, but I really need to get back to like preparing for school, which starts very soon at the time of this recording, in like 2 days. And so thank you once again to Mr. Rustage for providing me with this opportunity to edit for you. And I'm very excited to start working on the next rap battle, which I kind of have to watch more anime in preparation for it. So thank you, and back to you now. See you next time. Bye bye.